Possums are those furry little critters that you might find in your yard, maybe even in your trash can. And quite often, unfortunately, you'll see one squished in the middle of the road. But for one man here in Chattanooga, possums are his passion, and he's doing all he can to make their lives better. News 12's Dave Staley is just the man to tell us all about it in tonight's edition of More the Story with Staley.
I don't think there's anything that I would not take, and certainly nothing that I would be afraid to handle.
So says Jerry-Harvey as he walks down the hill right back of his house. Jerry is the driving force behind Opie Acres. It's a wildlife rehab center here in Chattanooga. Jerry and his group of volunteers rehab many animals, but mainly possums. Opie is a nickname for Possum. Harvey's been in the rehab business for over 30 years now. It became his full-time job 5 years ago. His main furry patient, Possum.
They're the most misunderstood, mistreated animal in the wild world. So I just kind of felt like somebody needed to be an advocate. And so I always have been, and I took that to the next level.
Opie Acres is a nonprofit working closely with TWRA, and it relies mainly on fundraising and donations. Jerry has about 24 volunteers working with him right now. During the peak season, Opie Acres will house between 100 and 250 animals, mostly possums, some raccoons, even a weasel. Most need rehabbing of some sorts, food, medicine, the whole sphere. Jerry says there are not enough hours in the day.
Spring and summer is a madhouse. People do not realize until you have actually worked in wildlife rehabilitation just what it takes to meet the need of the hundreds and sometimes thousands of animals and animal calls that you get in just a week. It's astounding. We can get as many as 30 to 50 animals a day in spring and summer. We're always short on money, always short on volunteers, always short on supplies, and definitely, as I get older, short on energy and sustainability.
Harvey says that 90% of the animals housed here are released back into the wild. A select few are used for educational purposes, and for those few possums that don't make it, well, they are cremated. Jerry has a special shelf just for them. Dave Staley, News 12 Now.
Well, Jerry is a Chattanooga native. He spent time as a radio broadcaster, and he's also a stand-up comedian. In fact, he just had a gig last night in Birmingham.